The Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, Master and Disciple, page 87. The bound souls never think of God. If they get any leisure, they indulge in idle gossip and foolish talk, or they engage in fruitless work. If you ask one of them the reason, he answers, "Oh, I cannot keep still, so I am making a hedge." When the time hangs heavy on their hands, they perhaps start playing cards. There was deep silence in the room. A devotee. "Sir, is there no help then for such a worldly person?" Master. "Certainly there is. From time to time, he should live in the company of holy men, and from time to time, go into solitude to meditate on God. Furthermore, he should practice discrimination and pray to God, 'Give me faith and devotion.' Once a person has faith, he has achieved everything. There is nothing greater than faith." To Kedar. You must have heard about the tremendous power of faith. It is said in the Purana that Rama, who was God himself, the embodiment of absolute Brahman, had to build a bridge to cross the sea to Ceylon. But Hanuman, trusting in Rama's name, cleared the sea in one jump and reached the other side. He had no need of a bridge. All laugh. Once a man was about to cross the sea. Vibhishana wrote Rama's name on a leaf, tied it in a corner of the man's wearing cloth, and said to him, "Don't be afraid. Have faith and walk on the water." But look here, the moment you lose faith, you will be drowned. The man was walking easily on the water. Suddenly, he had an intense desire to see what was tied in his cloth. He opened it and found only a leaf with the name of Rama written on it. "What is this?" he thought. "Just the name of Rama?" As soon as doubt entered his mind, he sank under the water. If a man has faith in God, then even if he has committed the most heinous sins, such as killing a cow, a Brahmin, or a woman, he will certainly be saved through his faith. Let him only say to God, "O Lord, I will not repeat such an action," and he need not be afraid of anything. When he had said this, the master sang, "If only I can pass away repeating Durga's name, how canst thou then, O Blessed One, withhold from me deliverance, wretched though I may be? I may have stolen a drink of wine, or killed a child unborn, or slain a woman or a cow, or even caused a Brahmin's death. But though it all be true, nothing of this can make me feel the least uneasiness. For through the power of thy sweet name, my wretched soul may still aspire even to Brahmanhood." Pointing to Narendra, the master said, "You all see this boy. He behaves that way here. A naughty boy seems very gentle when with his father, but he is quite another person when he plays in the Chandni. Narendra and people of his type belong to the class of the ever free. They are never entangled in the world. When they grow a little older, they feel the awakening of inner consciousness and go directly toward God. They come to the world only to teach others. They never care for anything of the world. They are never attached to woman and gold. The Vedas speak of the Homa bird. It lives high up in the sky, and there it lays its egg. As soon as the egg is laid, it begins to fall. But it is so high up that it continues to fall for many days. As it falls, it hatches, and the chick falls. As the chick falls, its eyes open. It grows wings. As soon as its eyes open, it realizes that it is falling and will be dashed to pieces on touching the earth. Then it at once shoots up toward the mother bird high in the sky." At this point, Narendra left the room. Kedar, Ramakrishna, M., and many others remained. master. You see, Narendra excels in singing, playing on instruments, study, and everything. The other day, he had a discussion with Kedar and tore his arguments to shreds. All laugh. To M. Is there any book in English on reasoning? M. Yes, sir, there is. It is called Logic. Master. Tell me what it says. M was a little embarrassed. He said, one part of the book deals with the deduction from the general to the particular. For example, all men are mortal. Scholars are men. Therefore, scholars are mortal. Another part deals with the method of reasoning from the particular to the general. For example, this crow is black, that crow is black. The crows we see everywhere are black. Therefore, all crows are black. But there may be a fallacy in conclusion arrived at in this way. For on inquiry, one may find a white crow in some country. There is another illustration. If there is rain, there is or has been a cloud. Therefore, rain comes from a cloud. Still another example. This man has 32 teeth. That man has 32 teeth. All the men we see have 32 teeth. Therefore, men have 32 teeth. English logic deals with such inductions and deductions. Sri Ramakrishna barely heard these words. While listening, he became absent-minded. So the conversation did not proceed far. When the meeting broke up, the devotees sauntered in the temple garden. M went in the direction of the Panchavati. It was about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. After a while, he returned to the master's room. There on the small north veranda, he witnessed an amazing sight. Sri Ramakrishna was standing still, surrounded by a few devotees, and Narendra was singing. M had never heard anyone except the master sing so sweetly. When he looked at Sri Ramakrishna, he was struck with wonder, for the master stood motionless, with eyes transfixed. He seemed not even to breathe. A devotee told M that the master was in samadhi. M had never before seen or heard of such a thing. Silent with wonder, he thought, is it possible for a man to be so oblivious of the outer world in the consciousness of God? How deep his faith and devotion must be to bring about such a state? Narendra was singing. Meditate, O my mind, on the Lord Hari, the stainless one, pure spirit through and through. How peerless is the light that in him shines. How soul bewitching is his wondrous form. How dear is he to all his devotees. Evermore beauteous in fresh blossoming love that shames the splendor of a million moons, like lightning gleams the glory of his form, raising erect the hair for very joy. The master shuddered when this last line was sung. His hair stood on end, and tears of joy streamed down his cheeks. Now and then his lips parted in a smile. Was he seeing the peerless beauty of God that shames the splendor of a million moons? Was this the vision of God, the essence of spirit? How much austerity and discipline, how much faith and devotion must be necessary for such a vision? The song went on. Worship his feet in the lotus of your heart, with mind serene and eyes made radiant, with heavenly love, behold that matchless sight. Again that bewitching smile, the body motionless as before, the eyes half shut as if beholding a strange inner vision. The song drew to a close. Narendra sang the last lines. Caught in the spell of his love's ecstasy, immerse yourself for evermore, O mind, in him who is pure knowledge and pure bliss. The sight of the samadhi and the divine bliss he had witnessed left an indelible impression on Yam's mind. He returned home deeply moved. Now and then he could hear within himself the echo of those soul intoxicating lines. Immerse yourself for evermore, O mind, in him who is pure knowledge and pure bliss. We just went through the readings from the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. In the last week we saw Sri Ramakrishna classifying the humans into 4 categories. He says that those who are ever free is one category, and those who are fettered, that means who are in the bondage, that is another category. Where did I leave it? Yes. Men may be divided into 4 classes. Those bound by fetters of the world, the seekers after liberation, the liberated, and the ever free. So when explaining these 4 things, Master was talking about the bound souls who are bound to this world of Maya. So how they are bound? He says, if they get some type of leisure, instead of thinking about God or doing some activities that may take the mind towards the God, they will just be engaged in idle gossip and then foolish talk. So they do not know how to spend the time that is available with them, and they actually spend in a wrong way. And he says, if you ask one of them the reason for spending gossip time, etc., then they say, oh, I cannot keep still. And then if they have extra time, that the time is hanging heavily on their shoulders, as they say, then what they do? They go and make a hedge of the home. They repair the hedge. So they do not know how to spend the time. So that is the problem with the worldly people. When Master uttered these words, suddenly we find the whole room seated, people seated there, they became absolutely silent. So they said, what is happening there? There was a deep silence in the room. M has noted this. M was also sitting in the room, and he looks at everyone, and everybody is stunned at the words of the Master. Then one devotee gets courage. He is asking, is there no help then for such a worldly person? Even, see, the devotee is trying to identify himself with that person about whom Sri Ramakrishna was telling. So he thought, I am also wasting my time. I am also thinking of idle gossip I am doing. So that means when Master is telling me, should I have any reason to come out of this, or I am bound always by this? Is there any way for me to come out? I think that has prompted the devotee to ask this. Is there no help then? Then Master says, certainly there is. From time to time, he should live in the company of holy men. Then he says, go into solitude and then practice discrimination and then pray to God. These are the 4 paths or 4 methods Sri Ramakrishna is teaching us. One is have to live with the company of holy men. So here you find the holy men are there in this world, and today one gentleman came a few minutes before. He was telling how it was. He found out he donates food during Sri Ramakrishna's birthday, and somebody has gone to him and said, "You are giving to that Vedanta society, but not to us. We also want like that." He said, "No, no, don't compare like that. There a holy man lives." He said like that. So that who is a holy man? A man who is thinking of God. So that man can be a sannyasi, that man can be a householder. But the thinking of God must be predominant in his mind. Is that available in a person? Then that person becomes holy man. We find where the mission is there, people come there. And with the sadhus, they sit for some time and discuss something, and they get the holy company. What about those people who do not have that opportunity to meet sannyasis? Then what will happen to them? So in another place, Swami Vivekananda says that the holy books are your company. That means when you have, say, Bhagavad Gita, I have with me, the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, I have with me, and I read the book, that itself is a holy company I have got. So if today, if I can't get a holy company outside, then in my own house, I can get a holy company by keeping these books and reading these books. Actually, when you read Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, you are like staying in the Dakshineswar and you are sitting in his room and listening to his words. So it has been so beautifully written by Yam. So that's why we are just transported to Dakshineswar and we live in Dakshineswar. And all the detailed description that Yam gives can take our mind to that. I always say that by reading Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, one of the important benefit to us is that we can think of Sri Ramakrishna's Leela in a very, very wonderful manner. In what manner? The wonderful way I say is, you can see what is depicted in the book and you are in that situation as it were. So it is long back. It is, see, this is 18 before Swami Ramakrishna passed away in 1886, and 5-6 years before this gospel was being done. So Yam used to go to him at Dakshineswar, and Ramakrishna used to speak to him. And even that, long back, it has been written, when you read it now, as if you are listening to him today. So this gives a vivid picture of the situation of Sri Ramakrishna's living at that time. And when you close your eyes and sit in meditation, and you can actually visualize those situations, and you are also walking with Yam towards the Mother Kali's temple. You are coming down and you are standing at the entrance of Ramakrishna's room and you are looking through the window or the entrance gate, and you can see through the door Ramakrishna is being seated in the small cot. So vividly you can remember and you can think of that. That is a sort of meditation. Then he says, go to solitude. This also, the second item he says that going to solitude is nowadays, you may say, is very difficult. Because where is solitude is there? Even when you go to any place outside, plenty of people are there, tourists are there. Even people say that we have to go to Rishikesh and get the solitude. It's not so. Many people have come back from Rishikesh and told me that, Maharaj, what a crowd there and what a noise there. Everywhere you got a noise, where is solitude? So solitude actually comes later when you develop in spiritual life, then you understand it is in your own mind. But then externally also you require some help of solitude. So solitude is a necessary. So I am so happy to tell you that in Ramakrishna Mission tradition, in different centers all over the world, we are having what you call retreats. And the retreats are a time for solitude. If you have once a year you attend a retreat, that means you are able to utilize the solitude there. So you go to retreat, and in the retreat generally we don't indulge in this type of gossip, idle talk. So we are focused on a particular theme of spiritual life, and then we don't spend time in waste. So that solitude is going on. So second practice, he says. Then he says, practice discrimination. This is also very important because the third part he says that practice discrimination. Discrimination, that's the word is used here for viveka. Viveka is translated as somewhat discrimination. The discrimination, of course, has got a very much abused word also. We find that, the racial discrimination, religious discrimination, like that also the word is used. But here in our religious life, discrimination is used mainly with regard to what is truth, what is not truth. That type of understanding between the two, that is called discrimination. So you discriminate, you try to find out what it is. So what is permanent, what is impermanent? I need something today. Do I need at all really? Or I am wanting it just because to have some type of social understanding. So why should I need it? So like that, you discriminate within yourself. It's called viveka. So the viveka buddhi. Then fourth he says, prayer to God. Prayer to God also is wonderful. Mainly we, in Hinduism, we find we do lot of hymns, but the prayer as such we may not be doing, because in the hymns itself whatever we want all are written. So we have asked. So separately we don't do the prayer. But Sri Ramakrishna shows us in this gospel how to pray. So one student in South Africa wrote down, where all the prayer Sri Ramakrishna does. He took it down separately and put it in one notebook, and you find, how Sri Ramakrishna teaches the children or around him, the people who are seated there, how to pray. We do not know how to pray. Most of us do not know how to pray. We know the prayer of asking. But there are many methods of prayers are there. Particularly in Christianity, there are wonderful systems of prayers are there. Prayers themselves become a contemplation. That's why in Christianity they use the word prayer very often. So the prarthana, we understand in Hinduism, prarthana means only asking. That is what prarthana. It is not so. The prayer word significance goes much deep rooted, because you just appreciate the beauty of the Lord. That is also a prayer. Or you speak about the qualities of the Lord. That is also a prayer. So it is not merely asking something. Asking, of course, it is you need something, so you ask. Okay, but there are certain things that you don't need to ask, and you can be getting joy by thinking of God. So that itself is a great prayer. So he says here, faith and devotion one must have. There is nothing greater than faith. So Sri Ramakrishna gives one beautiful example of Vibhishana's time. Vibhishana became king, after Ravana's death. Then in his time, he was a great devotee of Rama and Hari also. And in his house, the Tulsi plant was there. When Hanuman went in search of Vibhishana's house, then because he heard that Vibhishana was a great devoted man, and he found in one house there was a Tulsi plant. Then he understood, here must be a Hari's devotee must be there. Then he understood that. So he was a great devotee, and he gave a small leaf. In that he wrote the name of Rama and gave to the man who came and told him, "Oh king, I have to cross this ocean, but I don't have boat, etc." He said, "Take this paper, tie it in your cloth, and then walk." And this fellow started walking on the rivers, on the waters. Then he understood why I am able to walk. It is something wonder thing. Then he took out the leaf and saw it. Then he said, "Oh, only Rama's name is written." The moment he lost the faith, he was drowned. So this is a wonderful story. Sri Ramakrishna explains what is the power of the faith. If you have faith in God, even if you have committed heinous sins, that faith can overcome all those sins. Once Sri Ramakrishna was sitting in that small cot and talking through the door, he could see outside also. There are many people seated in the room, and one fellow was standing outside the room for a long time. Now all the people have gone. Sri Ramakrishna came out to the veranda and saw that man was standing there. And he said, "Hey, you are standing for a long time. Why you didn't come inside?" That man said, in a very, very gad tone, it was shaking voice. He was telling that, "You see, oh master, I was afraid to come near you." He said, "Why?" He said, "Because I have done all types of sins. There is no sin left in this world that I have not yet done. So such a sinful person, how can I come nearer to the holiest person? So I am afraid." Then Sri Ramakrishna went near to him, tapped him on his back, and said, "Say with me, I am the son of Mother Durga." And he repeated the words. Then Sri Ramakrishna admonished him, "What? I am the son of Durga. Can any sin approach me? No sin can touch me. Like that you have the faith." And then he started repeating Mother Durga's name, and he started having the faith. And he said, "From now on, say that you will not incur any sin." That's all. Whatever sin you have done in the earlier, that's all gone. Now you have taken the name of Durga, and now you have the faith that you are the son of Durga, so no sin can attach you. And that is what the wonderful song that Narendra was singing. So, whatever wretched though I may be, how canst thou then, O Blessed One, withhold from me deliverance? That means you will give moksha to me, mukti to me. How can you withhold that mukti to me? Though I have done all these things, because for through the power of thy sweet name, this wretched soul may still aspire even to Brahmanhood. It can even go to become a Brahmagya Purusha, by taking the sweet name of yours. That is a Durga's name. So, and then Master turns his attention to Narendra. Narendra was sitting there. For some time he just got out of the room and he went out. So at that time Kedar, Krishna and others remained. And Master is talking about Narendra. Narendra, he says, he is ever free, never bound by the fetters. That's also a very beautiful explanation of Narendra's spiritual achievement. Even at that young age, 18, 19-year-old boy, seeing him, Sri Ramakrishna used to get ecstasy because he is seeing a person whose mind is on a very, very high level, even at that age. And that person, he says, he compares him with Homa Paki. There is a bird in Puranas we hear about Homa Pakshi. So this Homa, that type of bird, this Homa, it doesn't come down on the earth and stays on the trees. It stays on the top, somewhere in the sky. And it's such a height it stays, there itself it lays in an egg. And the egg also starts falling down. And while falling down, it's such a height it is there, and the egg hatches. And from the egg, the chick also comes out. And the chick looks down, and it sees, there is the earth down below. And if I come down, I will go to thrash to the earth, and I will die. Immediately, it starts opening his eyes, and wings also grow. All these things happen while that Homa Paki, that Homa bird, is falling towards the earth. So when it is coming down towards the earth, it is actually growing also. And once it gets the wings, immediately it looks up and sees her mother, and then he flies up. So now what does that mean? That Narendra, though he is very young, he is like that Homa bird. He cannot be brought or bound by the fetters of the world. That's why he compares him with the Homa Paki. And then he says what accomplishments he has got. He excels in singing, playing on instrument, study, and everything. On that day, Kedar came So Master asked Narendra, you discuss with him in English, he says. I would like to hear them. And Kedar and Narendra are talking in English, and Master is listening, and he was very happy. And how Narendra took Kedar's arguments, and Master says he was so happily he's telling, he shred him into pieces, he says. So that's how Master is explaining that. And then everybody loves it. Then to M, Master is asking. So the logic that was being talked between Narendra and Kedar, Master wants to know what is logic. So he asked him, it's called reasoning. So logic, what is the subject logic? So Yam was taken aback. Suddenly a question has been put. Though he is a teacher, he can explain any of the subjects without any problem. But suddenly he was asked. He said, yes, logic is got two parts. So one part is going from general to particular, another is from particular to general. So he gives different types of examples, deduction, induction, these things. So these are technical things he is explained to Sri Ramakrishna. But while explaining, Yam was looking at Sri Ramakrishna intently, and he found there is a change in Sri Ramakrishna. Slowly, Master has withdrew within himself, and he became absent-minded. So Yam stopped explanation. That's all. He thought, now Master is not hearing. His mind has gone inside. That means he is thinking of God. So no use of telling him all these things. So he just kept it. At that time, so the meeting broke up. So all the devotees got up from the room. They went into the temple garden. And Yam also went to Panchavati. He likes Panchavati because many times he has seen Ramakrishna sitting in Panchavati and doing meditation. So whenever Yam had time, he would go to Panchavati and sit there. Even now, when we go to Dakshineswar, we tell our devotees also, please visit the Panchavati. And of course, Panchavati has been now given a big round. They have given some fencing. Yes, they have done it. And sometimes the gate is locked also. You can't go inside because they found people coming, common people coming, and the whole place was made very dirty, nasty, and so many things were thrown, to keep it clean is very, very difficult. Such a great place, Panchavati, the whole of Dakshineswar, next to Mother's sanctum. What is important in Ramakrishna's life, you find Panchavati was the important. And that Panchavati, how great is the place and how clean it should be kept. So they have put a big fencing with an iron gate. So last time when I took our devotees from Singapore, and we could not enter the Panchavati campus because they have put a gate and they have locked it. And you can't jump over and go there, you see. So we all stood there.
They never open it, doesn't it?
No, they may open perhaps if you go to the office and get the permission. It is a long drawn process to go there and tell them, etc. So they do open it because they clean the leaves, etc. I've seen that. So it is open. But getting the place bad, making people making it bad, that is what they must have thought. They might have made this. Yes.
Even the tree is getting old.
Yes. Yes. It needs some
protection,
maintenance. Yes.
protection.
So protection also. So with all that, you find that in that place, Yam used to go and sit there. In those days, there was no problem. They could sit there. And this Panchavati is where Sri Ramakrishna's most of his sadhanas were done. Whether it is, you say that Tantric sadhana under Bhairavi Brahmani or Advaita sadhana under Totapuri. It's all done there. And Totapuri, once he was telling Sri Ramakrishna that, you see, when you went to Mother Kali's temple, I was sitting here. At that time, one Betal, that is one ghost, came to me. I said, what did he say? Sri Ramakrishna is very curious. What did he say? The ghost was sitting on the tree and it asked me, are you not afraid? Get up and go away. Either the ghost told me. Then Totapuri said, well, I am not afraid of you. He said, why? Because you are also saying what you made of. The same thing I am also made of. I am also Atman, you are also Atman. You have a ghost body, I have a human body. That's all. Why I should be afraid of you? I shall not go away from here. Like that I told the ghost. Sri Ramakrishna was very happy. He heard this. So this Advaita Vedanta, the oneness of this universe, whether it is ghost or whatever it is, it's all in different bodies, that's all. Whether it is a subtle body, whether it is a gross body, it doesn't matter at all. What is inside, that is same everywhere. The same Atman resides. That is what the teaching Sri Ramakrishna was taught by Totapuri. Those wonderful things happened under that place, that Panchavati. So Panchavati, he went there. And then after a while, he returned to master's room. There, first time in his life, Yam saw an amazing sight. What he calls it amazing was that a few devotees were standing around Sri Ramakrishna and Narendra was singing. And Sri Ramakrishna was in Bhavamukha. So it was a samadhi. So this word itself Yam did not know. So this is a third visit to see. So he is coming and seeing him. So he didn't know that what is samadhi. One devotee standing next to him told him, see, Thakur is in samadhi. You see him. And it was exceptionally beautiful. And his mind was somewhere else. And Thakur is standing. And he explains, this is a subject matter for our meditation. When we think of master, how do you think? We know this picture. He's seated in Padmasana very nicely, not Padmasana, he's seated in a simple asana. And as we can see him, how beautifully he is there. But there is another, you can see the explanation of the situation. He said, Narendra was singing. When he looked at Sri Ramakrishna, he was struck with wonder, for the master stood motionless with eyes transfixed. That means the eyes are half open, but it is fixed on something else, transfixed. Trans means beyond. So beyond, it is fixed somewhere else. That means he is looking something as if, but he is not looking at anything. His eyes are half open. So he seemed not even to breathe. That breathing also has stopped. Like that he felt. And Narendra singing. Yam had never heard anyone except the master sing so sweetly. Narendra singing influenced Yam so much, he says. He has heard master singing very sweetly, but he has never heard anybody else other than master singing, and today he is able to hear Narendra singing so sweetly. That is the meaning there. Then, is it possible for a man to be oblivious of the outer world in the consciousness of God? So Yam started wondering within himself. He said, is it possible for a man to completely forget the world and be inside like this? So that means how much deep faith and devotion this man must have had to reach that state. So at that time, the master, when Narendra was singing, the song also is very beautiful, Meditate, O my mind, on the Lord Hari. This goes on like that. Several lines goes that. There, like lightning gleams the glory of his form. The form of Hari, how it is. That every deity that you worship, when we think of the form, such a beautiful verses are there in Sanskrit. Our Rishi Munis have seen the form, and after seeing the form, they have written down. So when you say Shantakaram, Bhujagashayanam, Padmanabham, Suresham, Vishwadharam, Gaganasadrisham, Meghavarnam, Shubhangam, Lakshmikantam, Kamalanayanam, Yogivir Dhyanagamyam, Vande Vishnu, Bhavabhayaharam, Sarvalokaikanaatham. See, this very beautiful verse, and we all sing that about Vishnu. How is Hari? Shantakaram. He's quiet, so peaceful. The Shanta Akaram, Akara, that means personified, peace personified, the Shantakaram. So how beautifully they explain that. So when the song also says, how peerless is the light that in him shines. The tejas coming from Hari is such that it is peerless. That means it has got no equal. There is no peer. There is no equal. And his form is soul bewitching. not merely eyes bewitching. You see, when you see eyes and you say so beautiful feature, you are very happy with that. But it's not merely external eyes, it goes into your mind and the soul itself is attracted to your sin. And how dear is he to all his devotees. So, when he says, how is his form, and that beautiful form of Lord Hari in love is that shames the splendor of million moons. One moon itself is so beautiful. On one Sharad Purnima, you come out and see everything is covered with blue light, and it's so beautiful. It is that moon is beautiful. And think of millions of moons, and what would be the splendor of the millions of moons. And that itself, that millions of moons splendor is shamed by Srinath, Hari's splendor is like that. So, when the last line was being sung, Sri Ramakrishna's hair stood on end. Tears of joy streamed down his cheeks. Now and then, his lips parted in a smile. So, this is the description Yam gives about Ramakrishna. So, what does that indicate? He himself says, when his lips parted in a smile, Yam thinks, is he seeing the peerless beauty of God? You know, when you see the beauty of God, you immediately smile. The smile comes automatically. So, Sri Ramakrishna smiling means, is he enjoying the soul bewitching beauty of Sri Hari? That is what he says. And he says, how much? Then immediately he finds to reach this state is not an easy matter. It is not one day that he has reached. He says, this vision of God, how much austerity and discipline, how much faith and devotion must be necessary for such a vision. So Yam could assess that so much of austerity and these things are required. Without that, this type of vision cannot come. The song goes on like that with the other lines, and the same bewitching smile of Sri Ramakrishna continues, the body motionless as before, the eyes half shut, as if beholding a strange inner vision. That's why transfixed, he said. Eyes half shut. So that means half open. Half open means he's seeing something, but he's not actually seeing. This happens to many of us also in our deep cogitation, etc. When you are thinking, you are looking something, the tea is kept before you, but you forget the tea is there because your mind is very much gone inward. So that is there. And this sight of the samadhi and the divine bliss he had witnessed, it left an indelible impression on his mind. And with this impression of Sri Ramakrishna on that day, he slowly walks out of the Chineswar and he is returning to his home. While returning to his home, he is humming the lines that he heard that Narendra singing. What are those last lines? Immerse yourself for evermore, O mind. It is a command to the mind. Mind is telling to the mind, O mind, immerse yourself for evermore in him who is pure knowledge and pure bliss. That is Ananda and Chit. And he himself is always eternal. So he is Sat. So Sat, Chit, Ananda, that is what his form. And immerse yourself, O mind, in him. Like that, those two lines he is humming and then he is returning to his home. So we shall take up the next part next week. Om Niranjanam Nityam Anantarupam Bhaktanukampadrita Vigraham Vai Ishavataram Parameshamidhyam Tam Ramakrishnam Shirasa Namamaha. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tatsat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.